Okay, so this is episode 13 of the Hoopla Show. I'm excited that I get to at least come up with a topic for this one, and it's a goodie. I'm really excited for it because it's something that I think.
I've been nervous because he keeps asking me.
What do you guys think it is? Like, what do you think it is? When I mentioned last night, guys, I got the topic idea.
I honestly have no clue. You were so sure of it. I have no fucking clue what it could
Chicken
be.
or the egg?
Okay, so I just thought it was about time that I first identify, will help the viewers identify what it is and what journey you guys are on. Because when I met Mark, and I said to him,
I'll never forget that.
and I said to him, no, in a different way. So I said to him, like, what do you do for a living? And he was like, I have an app. So I was like, oh, okay. But I had no idea, obviously, what the fuck you guys meant. And so when getting to know you, I realized, okay, you guys have been working with developers, you've been doing this, you've been doing that. However, behind the scenes of starting something like that, I mean, I don't know what the fuck goes into it. I just know the present and what's been going on in the present, but I didn't see what went on for, a year and a half before I met you guys and all of that. And I genuinely want to know more about it.
That's such a nice song. Imagine.
So-
And the
so
reason
that's
I
why-
was stressing so much is how did Josh ask questions like this before the topic? How do you go, Mark, I'm just so scared you have nothing to talk about. It's literally my life.
Yeah, no. But I really want to know.
He's like, I don't know if you'll have
Josh,
stories.
I'm going to stop you right there. I don't really like this topic. It's very boring.
Yeah, we don't know what to
Yeah, I've actually never thought about it before.
Are you serious? What the fuck, Mark? Don't do this to me. This is an exciting topic. I want to know behind the scenes of what went on.
It's the most exciting. Bro.
Okay, I want to know what went on behind the scenes. Where did the idea start? How did it start coming into fruition?
Yes, I think you need to turn my mic down a bit because I'm going to get a bit excited.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
I actually want to talk
Because I
about,
don't even know where it started, where the thought came from.
I don't know if Mark remembers how this first started. So not how the app started, but how like the pre-app started, basically.
Okay.
So Mark was in Australia, and Mark's always been the one to come up with all these ideas, as we all know. NFT millionaire ideas.
Yeah.
And he got a hold of me, and he was like, Jason, what do you think of this idea? I need to make a pre-workout. So I was like, cool, I'll help you out.
Let me tell you the pre-story to that. Just like
Yeah,
a couple
you
weeks
guys-
before.
you ready? Are you
guys ready?
I'm saying how it came about. So this is how it came about. Like, I've been in Oz a while, and I'm working a job, and like, it's just paying the bills. It's like a lot of money. It's nice to earn dollars, and I get to do a lot. You get to do a lot more there with that than But I had some friends across the road. I met these guys who owned a supplement shop, and it was literally like, here's my house, and they owned it across there. And these guys were like these 45-year-old Aussie blokes, and they were really into there. They've owned this shop and like two others for like 20 years, and like they are just proper loose Aussies, and like we always used to get in fat chats, and I was like, can I work with you guys, like blah blah, like I'd be keen to work whenever you guys. They're like, no, listen, we two brothers, and we always at the store, it's like our life. So I was like, fuck. And over there, it's not like here where there's like 5 brands of supplements, like they are fucking like an array of different brands. And I was like, guys, if I can get a supplement to you at this price and give you like maximum profit, and not like these big conglomerates. And I was like, I'll give you like maximum profit. Would you just push it through your 3 stores? And like, if it grows big, I'll give you shares in it or whatever. They're like, yo, 100%. If we like the product, like they got to like it as well. And like, I was like, fuck yeah. Okay, cool. So there we go. And then I found a company to do some testing with, but it was like $1,600, right? Okay. Just to make to go through their scientists involved, just to make a base, like a few samples, right? The price was for the testing it goes through kind of thing. And then I received samples, and I received them, and it was not what I thought. Like, it was not like a dream combination. And what you have to realize with it is like, it's not like my industry, like herbal medicine. It's like this stuff, like it doesn't always mean just because you have 50 of the best things in it, like it's gonna you're getting all those things. It's like an art. Like it's like the right amount of this mixed with the right. It's like a real concoction, right? To like give you that feeling.
Chemical X.
It's like cooking though. You might like garlic cooking, and you might like chocolate, but sometimes you can't just
put them all in. So like you can't just say, cool, 200 milligrams works great in that one, but it works well with these 5 other things. Like it's like sometimes the best pre-workouts are just the 3 ingredients, and you always wonder how, you know what I mean? But that's just how it reacts with your body, and that's what you realize after you've invested $1,600 into a stupid sample. But I did this, and I phoned Jace, and then like he'll take it the rest away.
Mark always used to call me, like while I was doing my honors, Mark used to call me all the time like, Jace, what do you think of this idea? And I used to say yes or no. Basically, it was never us working together. It was just basically
He'd either
bouncing
talk me into it or talk me out of it.
basic ideas, and that was like the extent of our relationship. We were friends, but we weren't close before that.
Yeah.
And so that was the extent of our relationship. And he called me and he said, "I'm starting this pre-workout. What do you think?" And I said, "Well, good idea. I mean, if you telling me it's easy to make money, good idea." And he said, "How do I market it? That's a bit different." So I said, "Why don't you try figure out a way to link people that are trying to gym together, and then you can get them to like join this platform so that's how you sell your product on it, because now they're linking together, not in a pyramid scheme way, just in a friendly basis." And that was like the base marketing idea that we came up with. And then Mike started the pre-workout, and he phoned me the one day. He's like, "Jace, it's fucked. Like, I've got to throw this away." And he was so upset. He was like, "I failed. I've just spent all this fucking money."
No, but it's also like I'm alone in this country, and normally I have 10 friends who I'm always like chatting ideas to. And now you're in a country where everyone likes their jobs. You know what I mean? And you don't have like these, like normally a friend, like it turns into you brainstorming the next idea, you know? And this time it was like, fuck, I'm on a phone call, and then the phone call's going to end, and I'm still going to be stuck $1,600 down. And like,
So I said to him, like, "Bro, don't focus on the fact that it fucked out. Like, move on to the next thing." And in that phone call, I was driving to work that day. So it would have been about 7:30 in the morning, my time, whatever time it is there.
Okay.
And Mike was like, "Yo, but that marketing idea was cool, eh?" And then we just started.
No, Jace. So it was like 6 months. No. This is how it happened, bro. That idea was 6 months prior. It was a different phone call, and we had that, like, we had this conversation, bro. We had this conversation where it was just uni based, right? Long before.
Oh, yeah.
And you like brought up that conversation again, and then ideas started bouncing and turned into something bigger. It was basically based around like studying or just one thing. It was like
even before that, we had just repurposed it. So it was when you were like, "I don't know what to do," and I said, "Why don't we just like push that?" And then I don't know how.
Bro, I promise you.
Anyway,
I promise you. There was an idea that we had long before, right? That it was too big, we were in two different countries, and we never like
didn't know anyone to bring it to
no,
life.
it was literally just one of our other stupid ideas. You know what I mean?
I
and then I started that pre-workout thing, and then Jason was like, I was like, "Jace, let's bounce some ideas off each other just randomly," and then he brought that up again, but that idea, the structure of it was too silly, and then we started like going off a bit and adding on and on and on, and then it was like, "What if this happened? What if this happened?" And I was like, well, I'm sitting in that situation right now, and that app would solve my problem, which was I'm in a new country, I don't know anyone, and I'm studying at a university where there's a lot going on, and you have to go. I mean, like, I'm a confident person, but I mean, I'm not the most confident, and I'm also not the least confident. There's people out there, like, I had to go sign up to like a committee, and just to do something I don't know if I'm interested in. You know what I mean? I don't even really know what I'm getting involved in until I sign up and I go try it out. So like this app would have solved everything. It would have been like, well, there's people studying there for exactly what I'm studying for. There's people doing this exactly, and it would all be on the app. And like the uni apps, just uni apps, they just don't work.
Yeah. So I had very similar experiences. So I moved to Stellenbosch for 1 year in my honors. So I'd missed out the whole induction phase week that people go through in first year, all that kind of stuff. And I really enjoyed playing like touch rugby, indoor soccer, all those types of things. And I got there and everyone was already in their cliques doing their thing. And so I didn't know how to sort of meet new people to get those things going. And when you're doing something like an honors where you're spending so much time studying, you don't have time to go out and do all of those things. So I was trying to like message people, and then it became a fact of like, oh, join this WhatsApp group and join that. You don't know half the people. You don't know how to link up.
That's so cool that it came from your real life experiences. Like, it didn't just come from an idea like, oh, we hope that this is going to work. It's so much more, I think, attainable for that goal when it came from a real life experience.
So this is what people actually have to learn, is that all of the products I've done, like everything that I've done, and even that, all the ideas only do come from solving your problems.
Yep.
Like, all of them were, like, if you look at all of the products I had, it either solved a problem that someone near me had that I solved and created a business from it, or it's not just like, hey, I wish I owned a marketing company. It was like, that business needed marketing and my ideas helped. Like, that's how it starts to turn into something real.
So you had the idea at this point, right? And you're like, okay, so when did you start to
the
run
next
with
day.
it?
No, it was that
evening.
day. Oh, yeah, it would have been the next day for you, that day for me.
Yeah, so I woke up to the business plan in my hands, and that next day, while I slept, Jace did the business plan. The next day, while Jace slept, I went to go meet with the fucking developers and then set up the business.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we set the business up in Oz. I promise you, within like a week, we're in like a boardroom with like this. It's called the Business Depot. I'm allowed to probably say their name.
probably.
Free exposure. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know. But they helped set up the business in Oz. And then we had a registered business. Oh, the next morning, first I chatted to an engineer friend I have. And he's actually a partner in our business in Oz. And he's studying aerospace engineering. He was the smartest guy. I always aim for like fucking the O that I looked up to, you know what I mean? In something else. You know what I mean? He knew I was good at networking. I knew he's good at fucking engineering. So we first tried to get developers. And like at the time we were like, fuck no, we need a business to do it. And little did we know it would have probably been better to guide developers through the process that were involved than trying to get a business on board. Yeah. So 1 week after that, we had a signed up business. We had meetings with the lawyers to trademark the name. And then it was initially called Howdy. This was our first fucking thing. It was called Howdy. And we were fucking ready to go with this name, right?
Branding, everything.
Branding, done. Posts already on the page. We had like, the Instagram page was flowing. That's the first thing we just pumped straight onto the brand's there, like done. And we had never done it this serious before. We knew this idea was good. And like everyone we spoke to was like, wow, like really, even the developers were like, this is a fucking good idea and it can be big, right? So like we did it properly for the first time in my life. I did it properly and I go sit in like this fucking huge corner office, tallest building in Brisbane. I'm like, this is our idea. He goes through our business plan. He goes through the trademark and he's like, there's a company in fucking
Singapore.
Yeah, that's trademarked the name in similar areas.
Howdy.
And he,
Okay.
and he was like, listen guys, you guys aren't aiming to just be in Australia or just be in one country. And he was like, you guys are aiming to be bigger. And he's like, I can see it being bigger, which he wouldn't have given a shit if it was just some stupid idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was literally like, this is where you say like, am I going to be big or am I going to be small? And he's like, if you think you're going to be small, stay with Howdy and just run with it. And he's like, but if you think this will ever be a problem, just fucking change the name right now. Best time to change it.
Easiest time to change it.
Yeah.
And that was a bloody stressful time.
Bro, we started, I remember going with our other partner in Oz. I remember sitting we had a beer. I don't even drink it random afterwards, but I was sitting there and having a beer with him and I was like, fuck, what do we do? Like, this was a huge problem at the time. Little did I know the problems are just going to get bigger.
Way worse.
That was like, bro, if we had to change the name right
like
now, I'd probably be like, fine. Like compared to the other shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that seemed like the world was crashing and we only had like 6 posts.
And like at that point, so Michael was there and I was still here. So every issue, we only had like the space of 4
like
hours.
a certain time frame to discuss it.
4 hours while we both awake where we got to discuss it. So it was just 4 hours and then he would go to bed and I'm sitting there stressing like the whole day. Nothing can get done. Like, you can't bounce anything off. And so that was our initial phase of sort of forming everything and like getting the ideas and getting our feet work in there and figuring out where to go from there. And then we got our developers on board then and they kickstarted it and we sort of did a couple more things in Australia.
Okay, so that developing phase, how difficult was that to start getting it built into fruition? Is it quite an easy thing
developers?
For people? Yeah.
You sign a contract and
Sign
they
a contract,
start the work. That's basically it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, every development company is going to be different in the way they structure their incomes and things like that.
Like ours was very different. They weren't developers.
What were some big struggles working with developers? What
So
was
firstly, it was Jason's like the like very nitty gritty, and there's me who's the people person going in to see developers, and like I'm trying to talk their language, and they're obviously pulling the wool over my eyes. But Jason didn't know anything about coding at that time until I came back to South Africa. And the first thing was like, firstly, these guys were, I mean, Jason's probably twice as powerful as their whole team, and we're paying them tens of thousands of dollars. So like right now, Jace could outcode them, and we were paying them to like take the reins, right? And the thing is like so this was our first problem. Was it was October 2019, and they were like, hey, February. They gave us a whole rollout. They were like February 2020. That's like 4 months. This was our first huge thing. 2020, 4 months time, they're gonna have it ready. Then I fly back, right? I'm here for like 5 months while they're developing. Now it's like 2 months late, and then it's lockdown. So we're like, it's fine.
We left it for like 4 months.
Yo, we kind of let it slide because they were like, yo, it's nearly ready. That's what they said, and then like we kind of let it slide. Now it's like July.
Yeah,
June,
it was
July.
It
Okay,
was
July.
yeah.
And now we're like, cool. We're gonna start creating big time awareness because they say it's gonna be ready in 2 months.
And we
right?
thought at that point,
we hadn't run into any problems
we-
with them
we
yet.
also
So we thought like,
But we also thought COVID was just going to be a temporary thing.
Yeah.
You know, I said
but
to
besides
people,
COVID,
no,
it
but
was,
I said to people like, if COVID runs longer than 4 months, we've got bigger fucking problems to worry about than COVID,
Yeah.
which we do, but it did. And so our mindset was like, oh no,
Pump it.
COVID's going to end soon. We need to start pumping stuff now. So
Yeah.
we went on the offensive, and now we're both in the same country. So our energy was, compiled together,
Yeah.
just going at it.
yes, we were kicking off.
And
So like
I
we
remember
went,
that
we
during
went
that
in,
phase was fucking intense.
it was fucking hectic, and like it was non-stop, and our team like quickly grew,
Mm.
and then like Joburg did the huge flipping event, and then Cape
There
Town,
was
that
Cape
huge
Town villa
fucking thing.
parties.
Yeah,
that
we
And
were-
like we really went all out, and then that villa party in Cape Town was supposed to be the launch 12th of October, 10th or
Because that's
14th
also when
of
we started
October.
assuming that the whole COVID thing would start dying
But I mean,
out.
fuck, besides the COVID, the app should have been ready then.
Yeah,
That's
so-
when they said, like, latest, right?
Yeah, you're still trusting in them at
Next
this point.
month. Next month.
No. So listen to this part. This is the more exciting part. So in around September, so I started contacting the developers in like July, like directly, and being like, "Okay, guys, what's going on?" Things weren't getting done, and I was getting quite agitated. So I said, "Send me the code. I have no clue what the hell I'm doing, but send it to me so at least I know where we're at." So they sent me the code, and I started running through it, and I had no fucking clue. I was looking at basically another language, and I started reading through it, and I said to Mike, like, "Mike, bro, I don't know what the fuck is going on here." So we're like, they obviously know what they're doing. So anyways, we left it for a month or two, and then they were meant to send us a beta, and I was like, "Guys, where is it?" And then they were like, "No, so we can't offer that feature, we can't offer this," which we had already agreed upon in the contract, and I was just getting more and more frustrated. So it ended up with a bit of conflict, and basically I ended up only communicating with them because the rest of our team got too agitated, and basically it was dysfunctional at that point. So I was the only one in contact with them. This is just before all our launch events, right? So, well, Mike was in Cape Town, I flew a bit later, and they were telling me, okay, beta's going to be ready. So I was telling Mike and everyone, okay, this, that, telling all the businesses beta's going to be ready at this point. This is what I've been told.
Yeah.
And I landed in Cape Town and got a message, and they said, no, it's not going to be ready this week. And I just landed in Cape Town for the beta launch. And I was like, what the fuck?
I would have lost my cool.
I was sitting in the back of the airplane because I
You're
took
feeling
off-
sick.
I took
Oh
off
my
and
fuck, and then when we landed, it was even more.
not even worse.
Yeah,
but but we took off, and I was, beta's gonna be ready. I'm landing Cape Town. It's gonna be this exciting thing. Landed, and I got the message, and as we landed, I just in the back of the plane, I was just losing my mind, phoning people. I was freaking the fuck out. Like I lost it. I don't tend to lose it. I lost it like completely. And then we had all that other shit which we won't go into.
So if you could have given yourself advice,
just
going
start
2
learning
years back.
everything.
okay,
Learn
this
marketing.
Is the value that I
Learn
want
how
to be
to
able to give
market
to
from the
viewers
beginning.
today.
Learn how to do your own videos. Learn
Okay.
how to do your own things. Even if you are paying someone else to do it, you are then going to never have the wool pulled over your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if
Because
Jason,
that was your guys' biggest problem, was that you had the wool pulled over your eyes. Also
From the
because you
beginning,
didn't
and
have
just a bit-
enough knowledge on what
Yeah.
was actually
So I
going on.
don't know. Let me just preface it. I don't think it's as much as wool being pulled over our eyes as it was that we knew less than them, but they didn't know very much at that point.
and we would never have known.
And we
You
could have
would
never
have known until you. And the thing
Yeah.
is, if you're spending that kind of money, like anyone who's tried to get an app developed knows how much it costs. Like I mean, in South Africa, your basic apps, you're going to be quoted like 500 grand upwards. You know what I mean? That's bottom line. They'll go up to 2-3 mil depending on. I mean, you're doing a banking app, you're going to be paying a fucking shit, you know.
Yeah.
But you go to spend this kind of money with a company that has done apps before. Like this company was like, no, we did this app, they're earning like $30,000 a month, and we did it in this much time. You know what I mean? You're like seeing stuff right in front of you, the examples, and those apps do exist. Like they were right there, they were working. One of the apps they did was this coffee app that was being done at the company I was working at in Oz. You know what I mean? Like it's there. I can see the app. So like it's working. You see it in front of you, and then they're like, oh yeah, 4 months later, it's quite complicated, blah, blah, blah. So they're not like trying to say, oh, it's easy. They like have said like it's quite a complicated thing. And you just sit there and you're like, cool, I'm putting my money down. You kind of expecting it to be done. That's their job. My job is elsewhere, and I put my money into that, so you know it's going to be done. So you wouldn't actually expect anything else besides getting out. Because right now, like from a legal point of view, you can sue them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've signed the documents, you've given the money, and they've now damaged your brand for 2 years.
Or
like
loss of income,
loss of income, brand damage. Like there's a lot of shit that they have contributed to with our business. Luckily, COVID was happening and it didn't do that much damage, but that is what happened. They did damage our brand. We should have had an app on that launch day, but we didn't. So not only that, we should have had it 7 months, 8 months before earning money. You know what I mean? So like, legally speaking, I wouldn't have to worry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could go take them to court. It's just, from experience, you don't want to go that road. Like, court is just, it's always 50-50.
Yeah.
Always. Like, it doesn't matter how much info you've got or how much paper they've signed.
And then, so from that point onwards, what was the decision that you guys made when you were like, okay, fuck, like, it's not going to work working with these guys. We need to make...
Jason kind of made the comment. When he
Did you make the
outcoded
call
them.
for that?
Look, I told everyone from our team, back off. Like, let me handle that. Let me chat to them. So I was like,
I got kicked off all the WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
No, bro, I promise you, ask Jace. I never swore once. I did not. What are you talking about? I didn't swear once on WhatsApp. Not a fucking chance.
Okay, anyways.
Not a fucking chance.
Besides
No,
that point.
I would never have sworn at them. I literally just called them out. I explained it exactly how it is. I said to them, like, we are paying you to do a job and you're not giving anything in return. What you're doing is like promising a worker a salary and letting them do all the work and then not paying them at the end of the month, but not just doing that for 1 month, for 12 months, because that's what they were doing, is like taking our money and not working. You know what I mean? So when I explained it in a legal term, they said like, we don't appreciate this tone of voice. And they were like, how dare you speak to our people like this? And literally all I was doing was
even more angry.
okay, so it did, and then they kicked me off the group and started a new one with Jay. So Jace like cooled me off and said like, he'll just handle it. But like, I was ready to just take them straight to court and say like, give us all our money and everything we've lost. And so I said to Jace, let's launch and run the app for a whole year, and whatever we earn in that year, we just sue them for. And like, we still can do it. Like, we get to that point. I'm just saying we're gonna write it off, but I'm saying legally you could do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
better to write it off.
Yeah.
You know.
So I literally had to bottle up all my anger, just say like, fuck it, it's their loss. They could have had their name on a huge fucking app. Like, they could have been the ones part of the growth of it. Like, they could have been the company, and now they're just sitting with their fucking dicks in their hands wishing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Jason could imagine the story this is going to be in like the book of how you started.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's why
we paid a company and then Jason coded it on his ace.
Yeah, that's when I started to really get involved in terms of like understanding your guys' story, because it's like, hey, shit, this is a good story. It wasn't just we have an app, we have capital for an app, we've got a good idea, they built it, we launched it. Like, shit happened. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of shit happened.
Yeah. So at that point, I basically just told, don't let Michael fool you here. This is pre-patient Michael. This is still kind of pre-patient Michael. This is kind of still angry Michael. So I was like, you need to fucking cool off. And Michael was just losing it. So I was like, okay, cool, let me handle it. Because at this point, when you're both dysfunctional, like from a relationship point of view, nothing's ever going to get done. It's just fuck you the whole time. You know, fuck you bloody the whole thing. That's what it was the whole time. So I was like, no, okay guys, back off, let me handle it. So I started chatting to them directly, and I was saying, okay, cool guys, this is the work that I need to get done. I was putting it out and this every single night, literally every single night.
And they thought it was a whole nother company, bro. Like, they thought before like Jason proved it was him doing all of this, they thought like while they were in the work, we went and hired like another company, right? Like other coders. And then the one meeting I sat on and I heard Jay speaking to him, and Jay was like, we need this, and he was going off, and you could see Andrew was like a bit skeptical, and then he asked a few questions and Jason answered them all like, we need a hoster on this and this, and this guy was just like, fuck, like it is Jason doing it all. And you could see the realization.
What prior knowledge did you have in coding?
So I did basic website for 2 weeks maybe.
Wix?
No, not Wix, like HTML, so like basic, very, very basic for like 2 weeks maybe. That was it. So I went at this completely fucking blind.
I did 2 semesters of coding and engineering, and like,
still had fuck all idea.
I went.
Yeah, like basic terms. Yes, I'm like, yes, I know that
I know
term.
that word.
Yeah,
I heard that
I've
word.
seen that word before. Yeah.
So at that point, I was just. But before that, so I started understanding the basics of maybe not always how to write it, but how it worked. So I used to send them lists like, guys, this is how you need to, what you need to get done, this feature, that feature, right? And I used to go to bed because they would wake up when I was going to bed. So I'd send them the list right before bed. And then when I woke up, they were midway through the day and say, okay, where you guys at, right? So that was like 3 weeks of just, okay, where you guys at? No, we're here. Then it was, okay, we're going to put this one developer just onto your guys' thing and you can talk to him like yourself. So I was like, cool. So we started working, and basically the way code will work is you can have a repository where if you make a change, it like logs it there, you've made one, he's made one. So it keeps track of everything, right? Yeah. So I started doing the work, and
Jason's going to throw some big numbers around now.
No, at some point. So I was like, okay, cool guys, please do this bit of work. And they were like, yo, we'll get on it. And after a week, I was just like, fuck that, I'll just do it myself. I'll go research, I'll just do it myself. And I was saying like, cool, this is done. And I would send them lists and then mark off my own stuff. And then it got to a point where, as Mike said, they probably thought it was a whole nother company doing it. And I eventually sat on a meeting, I was like, guys, this is not right. I'm one person doing the work of your whole team. Like, I'm asking you to do stuff, I'm doing it. And then I think they realized
and it's already paid for.
Yeah.
Like, we've paid for the work that Jason's doing.
Yeah.
So, and then eventually it got to a point, so this had been like 3 months of just me working on it.
Yeah.
And I got to a point where they said, oh, you're asking us to do too much. And I was like, what? And they were like, what you're asking, there's too much work being done. We don't have enough time. So I was like, I don't understand what you mean. They said, no, well, since January, it's been hectic. So I was like, I've looked back at the documents. You guys have made 500 changes. I made 55,000 in that period.
Holy fuck.
As one person. And I was like, it's logged. I was like, there's no doubt about this. It's logged. 50. So at that point, I was like, guys, honestly, I can't.
Let me explain this quick.
Okay.
In like real terms. You know how he was with that light? It was unnecessary to learn how to dim it.
Yeah.
He did not need to learn how to dim the light. But he sat there while we were trying to fucking get the set right, trying to dim it, right?
Okay.
It was unnecessary, right?
Got it.
How my mind works is like, that stuff seemed unnecessary. But Jace taught me like a very valuable lesson. And it's like, you just have to go out of your way and learn stuff. Like, even if you don't think it's necessary now, just learn it.
Yeah, because
like
at some
if it
point
was
you never know
the
when it's gonna
slightest
benefit
like
you.
speed bump in your life, like learn what caused it, and like Jace knows we'll one day have to learn how to dim that light, you know what I mean? He knows it, and he can now just
and
go,
when we're all sitting with
but
our
he
dicks
learns
in our
it
hand,
on the
he's gonna be like,
spot.
I know
Yeah,
what that's mean.
it's the same thing. It's like, just get it done now,
Yeah.
but in like a broader spectrum. Like, it's like way more advanced. And I think it was his years fucking doing his honors.
So those
like,
are the actual numbers. They had done 500 changes, or rough estimate.
Rough estimate, probably a bit. I mean, I've got screenshots. I won't go back and look at it. But yeah,
Show
basically.
me after the show.
Basically, that's what it
Jason
was.
knows
Okay,
the
so
numbers. Don't get him
At
wrong.
that point, and then at that point, I still looked at it and I was like, this is not good.
And they gave up, bro.
Yeah.
They gave up. Like, imagine Jason and I taking on someone and then giving up. Like, saying like, this is too difficult. Like,
Yeah.
imagine. And we've been paid.
Firstly, from a legal standpoint, they couldn't have.
They can't.
No,
But we just wanted our code.
Yeah.
Like, at that point,
Yeah, you
Jason
didn't give a
could do
fuck.
it.
You just wanted
And me
it.
and Jason were like, listen, the quicker we can, like, we want to launch this thing when we want, and there's no legal battle worth, like, holding away our code. We can't start again. So we are literally, Jason, like, begged me to just say, like, please don't take this legal. Let's just get our code back, play nice, like, really play nice, and just slowly kick them out. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
And then at that point, it got to a stage where I was looking at it and I was like, this is still not good enough. Like, it's there. It was working, but it's still not good enough.
Oh, I'd love if they
What was
watched
making
this.
it not good enough?
I'd love if they watched this.
It's difficult to explain, but basically,
It would be so cool.
it's like telling someone that all your clothes fit in the cupboard, but they're all just shoved around. You have no clue. You know.
Got it. They're
there's
in the
no
cupboard,
clue.
but there's no order.
Yeah, there's no order.
No, like,
so
okay, so let me explain it in terms that I've understood, right? Is like, there's a way to write something that can go fetch this and then put it over there, right? Or it could take it upstairs, take it outside, take it to your grandmother's house, put it on wheels, make it a bike, and then bring it back, and then it arrives. It's still here, but it's a fucking bike.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be your grandmother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If she has
essentially,
wheels, she would have been a bike.
the easiest way to describe it is like saying, "Oh no, I have a vehicle," and you'll say, "Oh, don't worry, girl, I'll pick you up. I've got a vehicle." And then
worry,
you rock
girl.
up.
Don't worry, girl.
And then
Jace, if you said that. Don't worry, girl.
and then you rock up on a fucking scooter. That's
Yeah,
what
okay.
it was. So it's
Oh, you rock up on your grandmother because she has a bike.
if you want to ride your grandmother's bike, or you fucking be my guest, but just whatever happens there, bro. So yeah, it just I was like, I'm not happy with this, and I can't do stuff subpar. If it's getting done, it's getting done fucking properly, because then it's not going to be a
Like
case
the
of
dishes.
3 months down the line and someone going, oh, we need to do this, and now you fucked yourself over because you were trying to do something expediently. So I got a hold of another senior developer in Cape Town, and he sort of joined on
He's
our
a
team.
unit.
Yeah. So he joined our team, and he was like, okay, cool. This is the way we need to structure it. And we
But
basically,
only right near the end. Like I'm talking like 5 months ago. How long? 5, 6,
yeah, 4 or 5
4
months
5
ago.
months
Yeah.
ago. So like this was still a year and a half of like or a year of Jason.
How'd you connect with this guy?
Fucking long, bro. Can I tell you how hard it is to find anyone that wants to earn money in South Africa? That's another story. Maybe I really want to talk about that.
we're doing this
part
now.
of Howya, right? This is what we've had to learn: is no one wants to earn money in the whole of fucking South Africa. And I know my mate, fucking
wanna
South
be
Africa,
broke.
yeah, you want to be broke. Okay, so like, bro, just a prime example. My mate, he's probably gonna listen to this in Cape Town. He started a brand through us as well. He started a product and he's trying to kick it off now. And he's got every means to do it. And like he's got all the connections to do it. He had to put up an ad on his story to look for a person who can do like SEO or website design, like landing page design. He had to. This was his tactic. Was if you can tell me anyone, right, that could apply for this and get the job, I'll give you $5,000. Like
Just
if
to
you can
refer.
even
Just to
refer
refer.
someone, right? I'll give you $5,000 just to point me in the right
They
direction.
thought it was
right?
a fucking pyramid scheme.
Yeah,
That's why.
but yeah. So I'm just saying, like, that's the extent you have to go to
Yeah.
get someone a job. But how many fucking people are looking for jobs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like impossible, bro. We've like just a fucking person who can go into stores and talk about Howya, and not just that. The potential, like we couldn't explain enough, was like the potential to be a base team of ours and run teams under you and
The
grow
core.
like exponentially with our team. Like we have every means to grow that fast. And
Well, that's very definitely sounding like a pyramid scheme.
they can't fucking. They
You don't have to pay
We got
anything.
this team and this team
No,
under us.
you
So
don't
we're
have to
growing.
fuck-
We're
no,
all
no.
growing.
Just
Shut
explain.
the fuck
You
up.
don't have to pay anything to
Oh
be
yeah,
a
you
part
don't
of
have to.
these
Yeah,
teams.
guys,
You get
to join
paid.
Howya, you have to pay 50,000 rand. You can join the pyramid.
Imagine that.
You can be the top of the pyramid. No, so like we have tried like marketing team, like anyone who can fucking draw a picture on an iPad, like literally anyone, and we have broadcaster, and I mean we are not paying a little bit, like we're not paying like underpaying, we're fucking overpaying for people. You know what I mean? Like the salaries are great, and like to try get someone is impossible. And now that those are industries that are well known. Now people who code in like React Native and like Node.js, like it's impossible. Like
They're already employed. That's
they
most
are,
of the
yeah,
the
and
issue.
there's
they've
very
already got a
few of
position,
them.
yeah.
And like no one wants to be a part of something that they would be big in. They'd rather just play it safe. And it's so weird because South Africa, you'd think people would want to like
Take the risk a little
take
bit.
the risk
Yeah.
because like as I've seen, everyone needs a fucking React Native coder and there's not enough of them, so
Yeah.
they could take the risk and always, and if you're paying the salary they can always go fucking get a job
Yeah,
that
go
pays
back and
just
get
as
the
well.
job, yeah.
But bro, it has been like we have
So that
asked
was a process.
friends of
Yeah.
friends and
Okay.
friends of friends.
That's how it got there. Was
Friends
of
who have
of friends.
fucking apps that are like hiring 50 people, you know what I mean? We've spoken to them and asked their people to ask friends, and like no one can find anyone. It's been like
It was
so
yeah.
it was fuck hard, and we
Yeah.
got very lucky, and he's a really good guy,
Yeah.
and he's fucking good.
So we got a hold of him. It was just the weirdest thing. But we always said like everything happened for a reason. So if we had found someone earlier, I might not have learned as much. And if I didn't learn as much, I couldn't make business decisions because I couldn't understand the app as well as I do now. I know that thing back to front now. So it was a blessing in disguise. And then he came on board and we had a Zoom call with him. And words that we would have said to him, he was saying back to us, and we were like, whoa.
Yeah, it was weird.
This is-
Okay.
Like not just coding words, like
yeah.
like
Yeah,
human
yeah.
human words,
Human words.
not robot words.
Occasional.
Yeah.
He said hello, we're like, wow.
You're our guy.
Yeah,
You are the one.
Yeah. How are you? And we waited for a reply. Yeah. No, it was like he just had the right mindset for it all. Like it was just like he liked it, like the stuff we do where we say like, listen, we want to offer you something, and only when we prove ourselves do we like get the return. You know what I mean? That was he was saying it before us, was like, I won't like take your money and then not work. I will like prove myself, work, get the job done, and then like pay me the rest. Or like he
Very
was saying
ethical.
it. He was saying it before we were saying it, which was great. You know what I mean? So it was just like it was just hitting all the right boxes along the way, and we're just like, fuck, you know, it was like meant to be. Everything happened. That's what, if anyone takes anything out of this, we've taken everything as a positive. Like nothing. COVID, fucking Jace having to learn the app, everything only bettered the app, and it's only setting us more up for success. You know what I mean? Like nothing happened for no reason. It was just all like, we are so grateful for those negatives. Like Jace can fucking guide a team of developers. Fuck no. He doesn't have to pay someone who he just trusts with the code. No one can take the code and run. Jason will just be like, oh, I can fucking do the whole thing myself. You know, like everything happened for a reason. You know what I mean?
So we also, I mean, aside from the development side of things, which we made other mistakes, plenty. People look at us and they won't see it because obviously you don't voice your mistakes, because some of them could get you sort of, if you're vulnerable, people will take advantage.
This must have been this must have been really hectic for you guys, because like you were getting ready to launch this. Not only were you publicizing it, you were holding mansion parties in different cities around the country for the exposure, for the fucking launch.
It was really cool.
It was super really hectic, and like so.
And now we're gonna do it again.
So yeah, it must have been like
we get to do it again.
We get to do it again.
But this time with fucking everything working.
So it really also must have put you on the back foot mentally in terms of like, fuck.
And
like,
I don't know if we can say it, if we don't mention names, but I mean, we had companies come after us. Like, I mean, competition, like a huge established company that everyone hates in South Africa, because they have not built a foundation of good relationships and trust. They felt very threatened by us. And like we were coming in hot. They came to all our parties, pretended to be our friends. They got like their top marketing team, like a lady from their top marketing team came to like befriend us, set up a meeting like they want to partner with us. And next week we get a lawyer's letter saying like trademark infringement, and they don't even have a trademark.
I remember seeing two of those guys rock up at the Cape Town party, and they just,
and little do they know, weird. Our lawyers are just that much bigger than theirs. Like we just got a better letter rock up. But their guys claim to fame, their lawyer was that he once worked for that law firm or worked with this law firm, and we got that law firm to drop a letter on there, and we have a good relationship with him. So we've just been like very fortunate, and like that stuff people don't see. It's like that stuff we've never even talked about.
People are only ever going to see, unless they watch this episode or read the book, they're only ever going to see the launch of the app. They're not going to see all of the bullshit that you guys had to go through. And I mean, I'm finding this out right now.
But think about this, right? So think about me freaking out at the beginning when Howdy and Howya was the problem, right? And I was freaking out. And then picture now, we've just spent hundreds of thousands on launch events, and on like the second to last one, we get a lawyer's letter saying that our name needs to be changed if we...
While the code is still in...
Wow, So like, it was just like, how do you compare that problem? And all I think is like, if we aim higher and higher, the problems are only going to get bigger. So you just need to learn, like when that problem comes in, don't be like me and just fucking lose your pulse.
Oh no.
Right? Just like fucking... sit back and say like, this is part of the process. Like it really is. The higher you aim, the bigger your problems. And just be prepared. Like when you read like Shoe Dog or like how Nike started, you just see the problems get like, they're small in the beginning. He's trying to get a loan and he's freaking out. And then you see him like get a fucking lawsuit from a Chinese conglomerate. And you're like, he's just as relaxed there as he was there. And you just got to realize he got there because he could handle all those problems. So be the guy who handles those problems 100%. Well, not the guy who sees the fucking problem and is like, this is fucking hectic. It is just a step.
I believe that is the true essence of an entrepreneur. It's not someone who cuts deals and sells shit. It's someone who is able to solve problems.
Sells shit.
That's a hustler.
That's a hustler. An entrepreneur is a problem solver, and the best entrepreneur is whoever solves the problem fastest or solves it best. That's how I look at it. It's like the essence of an entrepreneur.
Can roll with the punches, and keep going.
Once you
not change direction just because it gets tough. Like the problems have to come. Otherwise, the goal is not worth it.
I would sit there and I don't know. I definitely did it to Mike because I did it to everyone. Like because I took on all the development by myself, that was all the stress just on my plate. And I used to phone like would it be Mike and other people around me at that time, and I was like, I'm so fucking stressed. Like I don't even know what to do with myself.
Don't see. He was working till like fucking 3 a.m, and then rocking up to gym at 5:30. Like people do not see that. He was like ruining relationships because he literally, every time I got to him, I could not get him to like not even stand off of his chair. It was like he was glued to the chair till like 11, 12 at night, bro. Glued.
Was it because you were excited to get it finished, or
No,
you were
no.
stressed?
So
bro.
this
You were
is
just under pressure?
everyone said, "Oh, how did you learn coding
the
so
money.
fast? How did you do this?"
You've invested into it.
It's the.
You see, no.
I was gonna
I'm
make.
not
I thought you were joking.
I'm
I
not
was saying
saying,
first.
no, I'm
It's
saying
the
it's
money.
not the
money.
money at the end. It's
Yeah.
like
What
you've
you've
invested your
invested,
whole
yeah.
life. Like, bro, salary's coming in and it's just going straight in. Like,
Yeah.
we're paying a salary of someone that's like my salary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's what I earn, we are
Yeah.
paying. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which is like a head developer does not come at a cheap price. Like, yeah, it's coming in and coming out, and that's right now. Like, then it was that and these events and all these other things and the app overseas that we thought we still had to pay. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
was like, Jace had a lot. It's all this like stuff hanging over you that if you slip up, all of it's for waste.
Yeah.
So it's like you're starting from the ground up with no app.
Yeah.
So Jason just like,
I just took the brunt of it and just thought someone has to take it. Like this responsibility has to be taken, and if not me, who else? Like someone else could do it, but so could I. So I may as well just fucking do it. So I was doing it.
such a
but
fucked mentality. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's taught, bro. I would not have started all of my shit
I'll
unless it
tell you
was for
something right
Jace.
now. Like in terms of coding, I mean, I know absolutely dog shit about coding, but
But you can learn. That's the thing.
I
is,
understand you can
bro,
learn
it
it.
all
But
looks
bro, when you
daunting.
so daunting when you've been, especially when you know that other people have already been dealing with it. You don't know what you're walking into as well. You
And
don't know
my
what
mind
problems you're
goes
walking
like,
into.
people have studied 4 years to do this, right? And now I'm just starting now. Like, it's
Right
going to
now.
take me 4
Yeah,
years.
like, how did
But
you
what
fuck-
Jace has fucking told me is, I promise you right now, those, like, when you go do a degree, right? You're going to a 3-hour lecture, you take in probably 20 minutes of it, bro. And then you're going home and you're not thinking about that. You want to go jaw. You want to go play cricket. You want to go play soccer. When you have to do something, like, I mean, Blender or fucking video, like, I eat, sleep, like fucking ask Jace. When I get hooked on something I enjoy,
Turning at
he
your
just
knees.
hears me like I'm fucking on the toilet, bro, and I'm just watching videos. Like, Jace will hear me, I'm trying to play a game on PlayStation and my phone's on with a tutorial next to me because I can't stop. I was at gym the other day and Jace was like, fuck, you need to start taking pre-workout again. And I'm sitting there staring into the distance and I looked so upset. And he was like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And I was like, no, nothing. It's
the problem
there's
on
a
Blender.
fucking, it's not working on the computer. I'm trying to solve it.
No, you kidding
know?
me?
he's turning into me. He used to laugh at me.
Yeah.
I promise you,
But
it's
the
like
thing is, that's when you learn something in 3 months, you know?
Yeah.
That's when you turn 4 years. Like, think about it. 4 years of 3 days a week at uni for that subject, right? You max going 3 days a week for a single subject.
Yeah.
And that's for 2-3 hours. And then maybe 1 hour in the evening, 2 hours in the evening that you are distracted. You don't want to learn that subject, right? You're not obsessed with it. You're not going
forced.
on the toilet and you're watching videos. Like, you're not in the car, like, trying to talk to your girlfriend and thinking about how the fuck that chemical reacts with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's as soon as you get away from that book, you're like, fuck yes. You know what I mean? Think about anything else. But when you actually want to do something like Jace with coding, he knows what someone in a degree would know in like probably 3 years. Like, I'm saying like just an average
Yeah.
coder.
Yeah,
like,
well,
you
yeah.
know you can build an app.
Yeah, well,
Which
I
is
have.
something, I mean, yeah, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know
Get a
you
rubber.
can. Yeah.
yeah.
From start to finish. How many people can say that started 6-7 months ago, halfway through a developed app? Like, he didn't even start from the ground up. He literally was trying to solve problems. But that's how it starts.
Yeah, but then do you think it would have been too difficult for you to start developing the app from the get-go?
No, easier.
So you think
Easier.
that the wrong move was looking out?
Oh, you're saying
Because so when you looked, obviously,
If we decided to code it
did
ourselves.
did they have to get the ball rolling in order for you? Do you think
They
that
had
it would have
to-
been too hectic for
Okay,
you to start
so-
from the get-go, from scratch?
it would have been easier to start with no code than broken code, essentially.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No doubt. It's easier to start with something that's not there than to start with a broken thing, having to pull it back down and then rebuild it up. No doubt. It's easier to start with a
time
car.
consuming,
You
okay.
don't have to figure out all the issues
their
before
code
you can even
was
start.
shit.
Yeah.
That's
Their
what
code
it
was
was.
shit.
Because that's what I had to do now. I had to take it back to literally nothing and rebuild it completely.
It
But-
was shit.
Yeah,
Well, I don't even have to look at
Yeah,
you, but I still hear
Jace
it
was
just
just.
as
Could you
loud in
see my
ear.
face when you heard that?
Yes.
Yeah. It was like Jace just kept saying like, "Why the fuck would they do that?" I can see where they even pulled this code from. They were just copy pasting shit and shoving it in. And Jace had to like go in and say that's wrong when he's never learned if it's right or wrong yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just had to like figure it out. I
Yeah.
think that was definitely harder than.
But
Yeah.
the motivation was definitely having them having done it first, because like it
Then you could
agitated
prove them
me.
wrong.
It agitated
Yeah.
me more. So that pushed me, and that was it. Stress was a motivator in this case. That's how I did it. Was just I needed to get it done. Someone had to get it done, if I'm not working on that day, nothing's getting done. So you better fucking work.
Yeah.
You can take 3 days off. The work is still going to be sitting there when you get back. So better to do it now. And that's what I keep telling everyone around me. Like, guys, you're just going to have to, it's going to be a shit year. I'm just going to have to crunch for a year because I'm the only one that can do this right now. And I did, and it got
so
done.
this guy from Cape Town, he was your mentor during this process? Of
No, only at the end.
Only towards the 5 months. Yeah, I'm saying for the last
yes, yeah, for the last year.
So for how long
But
did you
not
go
like
by yourself?
it was best
How long was it by
practice.
myself?
prior to when you met that guy.
8 months.
A year.
A
Well,
year.
just under a year, probably.
No, not
No,
even.
it's less. A bit
Not
less.
even.
Okay.
Bit less. So yeah, I worked.
Oh yes, because you went in there already with knowledge.
So
and you're
I went
spitting back. Yeah.
So I
okay.
went probably 3-4 months of working with the other developers and developing myself, and then probably 4 months of just me. So taking it all to scratch, just me working on it. And then I got to a point where I was like, I've hit sort of a knowledge cap. I need someone to sort of mentor me. And that's when we started completely reframing and restructuring the whole thing. It looks nothing the same. If you had to look at the two things, it's not even.
But fuck,
Not
dude,
even
you
the
saw
same
it today.
Yeah.
It's like
No, I'm saying, yeah.
world
just from-
class
yeah.
now.
Yeah. No.
Like it's
working
like, and that's
perfectly.
just 2 people,
Yeah.
and
The
you're
main
just paying
thing-
a single person's salary, you know, and compared to like paying these people fucking whatever they want, you know, like an
Yeah.
app, like you just, it's about like that book, The Lean Startup, like that's one of the fucking, it's a really nice book, and it's literally just about doing things in like this way, and it's like you don't need to fucking just go spend, if you don't have 500 grand, there's always a way to
You
do
can
it.
do it, yeah.
There's always a way, even if you can't, like there's a way to do it. Just think streamline, like just streamline everything. Like that's one developer's salary, and then Jason having to go out and learn, but not to like the peak of his. If you really want something, like a developer's salary for the price of a normal app will get you 2 years of developing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like that'll only last you 6 months for an app that may or may not
Yeah.
be what you want.
So we've got it to the point now where it's dialed, and I'm happy with the knowledge that I have, that I can go in, and we've had meetings with other developers since in terms of like maintenance and stuff, and I can
And
sit
they were
there.
just so impressed, bro.
Yeah.
They were just so impressed. I just sat at this table and I watched them ask him questions, and I was just like, fucking proud. And I was like,
Is it?
bro, at the end of it, bro, they were just like, how are you guys like so good at marketing? And like now you have a guy here. Like we went in there as like these guys who could market, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they didn't expect, no one expects it. And Jason's just like, they like kept on asking like, you didn't study this. Like, what did you study? And Jason was like, no, business. And they're like, fuck. Like,
Because
it's fuck.
don't forget, bro, you and I weren't friends when
Yeah.
Mark and I met. Like,
Yeah.
you were just there at the house, and I'd rock up, and then I'd be, hello, Jason, hello, Jason. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
it. We'd never speak. So I didn't know the problems.
Yeah.
And obviously, he wouldn't voice everything. He would just
Yeah,
be
yeah.
telling me about this and about that. So I didn't
Jason's
understand.
veins are popping. That's all I
But-
pretty much said.
But few people did know, because I just took myself away, and like I know it's that whole adage of like just take yourself, lock yourself in a room and get the work done. But that's what I did.
Yeah.
People didn't see me for a long time, and I had to just get the work done. Like I sacrificed a shitload for what we have.
That's why you're looking so pasty. I'm joking, jokes.
I can't help
That's why
that.
you're
Like
shining.
That's why he looks older than
I would
me.
like to, yeah, that's why I'm going grey. There's many a grey hair here. But I'm so, I had to do that, and like, it's going to make, and I kept saying to Mark, like the thing that I used to get so frustrated, it pisses you off when you're in the moment. But I have this mindset often where I have like almost imposter syndrome, where I'm like, I don't deserve what I have in my life, right? And now having what I've been through with the app, when this does kick off, and I don't see this going anywhere other than the biggest fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be there looking back and going, how did I make this money, or how did I grow this
Yo, he
business?
knows
this
how
big?
he made.
Yeah.
I fucking earned this.
100%,
Every single
100%.
second of what I enjoy, I've earned. So that's why I'm also content with what I did.
Yeah.
Bro, that is what gets me through my days, hearing Jay say that. Like, I love it.
No, 100%.
It's
I love
fucking,
it.
bro, whenever you think like I could be working right now, you just think Jace would be, and then you work. You know what I mean?
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
People
No,
have this
it's
weird
true.
perspective of me. Like I've
No,
got my
I
own
mean,
photos
like-
hanging in my bedroom.
No, like now, no, Jason doesn't think of
Yeah,
himself
his
like this.
wallpaper is actually himself.
Yeah.
Shredded as fuck.
It's just- this is the anti-bullying episode. Actually, keep it
Yeah,
going.
yeah,
Thank
okay,
God,
yeah.
because that last one was.
I know it was rough.
But yo, Jason doesn't actually talk about himself like this. This is just
Yeah.
us acknowledging
If anything, it's like my weekly duty to blow some smoke up this guy's ass just to keep him going.
That's why
'cause
we do
otherwise
it.
he
That's why we
he
do
won't.
it.
After you talking about what you would do to an ass last episode, just rather don't.
Well, I didn't. Mark did. Mark mentioned it. I didn't say anything.
It was all you.
All of just go with the Jason.
But I think the biggest thing to learn. So
Hasn't gone lie.
they're just gonna go back.
You
and
chose the wrong direction.
They're gonna go back and
If you
check
said
it.
Jason did, I would have agreed. You went the wrong way.
No, I can't lie. This has happened. But it's gotten so the app is right now basically in a point where I'm playing around with it on my phone and like
So is it like you can send me a link on Test Flight? I can play with it if I want to.
yeah, I'm avoiding
Right
doing
now,
that
it's
right
Jason and I testing it.
It's just
and it's
fuck. Okay,
it's
sorry.
it's the cool guys.
Okay.
And it's the big talkers. You know?
Okay, I see. It's only the ones with big dick energy.
Yeah,
that
it's the
gets
big
me.
dick energy.
We're still considering the whole COVID situation. So we just need to track that because we don't want to make the wrong decision with it.
But
So
we are going to, for anyone interested, we are going to have like a group soon. And I think the best way to do it would be to create a big WhatsApp group.
yeah.
And everyone, last time was just like send out all these emails and people download and test. But I think best way to get feedback would just be to add everyone to a group and test it through.
But
because right now it's like fucking
Yeah,
right
but we'll
there.
but we'll get there. But essentially, from what the app is and what our plans are, like everything is there. But all I could say from the whole process and the whole thing of what you've said is, and Mike mentioned it earlier, was when you see problems, appreciate them because you're going to learn so much in those problems. I wouldn't have learned if the developers worked the way they were intended to. I wouldn't have learned coding. That would have screwed up almost my whole, well, not screwed up my life, but it would have limited
we would
me.
we would never have run the company as easy. You know what I mean? If we never went and learned these things.
So
You know what I mean?
appreciate your problems, and as you said, as an entrepreneur, it's who can react to the problems in the most rapid way, but also I think it's
The most effective way as well. Yeah.
who can take the most lessons from it, because a similar problem is going to come up, and you'll say, "Cool, I can handle it in a certain
Bro,
way."
this is it. Think of it like this, right? Let's say there's the guy earning 20 grand a month, thinks he's earning some good money and he works for a company, right? That company has been, the person who owns that company has been through a shitload of problems. He's fought those small law cases, like he's fought the trademark infringements, he's fought the attacks on his business, right? And that person is like, I do more work than him. I deserve more. You know what I mean? Like, I deserve a higher salary. I do more work. That guy would have made the wrong decisions 50 times over and that company would have been in the ground. That worker, you know what I mean? He hasn't been through all of that. That guy, just to make those few, that's what you have to realize is that guy, just to have been through that and make those right decisions and keep the company afloat, deserves whatever he wants. That person that's earning the salary and doing 12 hours work a day, that's him earning his salary and not knowing those and not having been through those like shortcomings. You know what I mean?
And I think the other thing
100%,
that we learn
I
from this
agree.
is patience, intensive patience, because there's so many times throughout this process where we could have launched the app in a broken state and said we'll fix it when we get there.
That's
we
who
could
I
have done
used to
this.
be.
And the fact that we have held off, that patience is going to pay off in the long run. Like, we haven't been earning an income from it because we've been holding it back for so long to make sure that it's so
The
refined.
value is going to be so much more when we release.
just because we were patient.
It's like you could have been earning 5 grand a month. You know what I
I
mean?
can tell
But
you
the
this,
patience.
there'd be nothing worse than for me to download an app because someone's told me about this app and it's just launched, and 2 days later there's an issue, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. The entire brand will suffer. The app idea will suffer. So refining everything you're doing is the best decision that you guys could have made. And I had this discussion with somebody else, because if you did launch it and there was bugs and there was this and there was that, obviously there will be a few issues that you've got to
Always.
refine, but not major ones that would literally make the app crash and like,
Well, it
now
wouldn't
it's
have to
not
be a whole
usable.
restructuring at some point.
It could have ruined fucking everything, you know? So doing what you guys did now, that's exciting. Okay, so the app it's in a functional state right now.
more than
A functional state right now. So
we chat on it actually.
This guy's thinking so hard right now. This is Michael's thinking face. He looks at me and he's like,
There's a problem on
This is
there's a
too-
problem
too
on
many-
Blender.
This is too many fucking. Now you've talked through everything. Now what's next?
Yeah.
I need to fucking get this thing out there. Where's Howya?
well, yeah, okay, so if you want to join the WhatsApp group, guys, there is a sign-up fee and you have to hand a referral over.
Actually,
At least 10.
At least 10.
speaking of which,
And then
And
those
then
10
you'll
have
be
to
on
sign
your
up
way
more.
to the top, baby.
going off
Call yourself
Yeah.
Pharaoh.
yeah. Straight to Egypt. But another thing from that is if someone has a skill that's unique and wants to fucking earn money, not that we now need employees, but having someone that has the drive, I think is way more important than having someone that has the qualification or has this.
Yeah.
So if you have
'cause
something that you think
look
is
how
unique, get a hold of
100%,
us.
Yeah.
Even if it's not for our business, we know people that need you because there's not enough.
Yeah.
And if there's not enough,
I mean,
they're just not
go
loud enough.
look through the app and just see the value add that anything could bring to the table, that your ideas could bring to the table, and just pitch it. Like,
Yeah.
we need people. Like, we do. We need to
Always.
grow fast.
There's always people
Oh.
all
Okay,
over.
well, I'm happy. I wanted
Okay,
to know the
wait,
story.
We need,
I got
guys,
it.
this
Yeah,
thing's gonna fucking
aside
fry.
from this, next week is
Josh is smoking.
next
Yeah.
week is next week is Josh's episode
No, it's
because he's
not.
got some big news coming, which
Yeah.
we won't this week
Yeah,
speak
so-
about just yet. So next week is your fucking episode, and we're
Okay.
breaking the
Yeah,
champers
catch you next time.
And we're
Yeah,
breaking the
champers on the
champers.
show.
on the show. Who knows?
Okay.
Probably not.
Like, subscribe, or don't.
No, don't.
If you do,
No, we don't need
okay,
that.
bye.